Welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am streaming to you from beautiful Central Europe here in the Baltic Basin. I hope everybody is having a great day so far. This is a members chat class. You have to be a channel member to chat, not a subscriber, but a channel member. You can do that by clicking the join button beside the subscribe button. Students, today we are looking at a challenging IELTS reading passage 3 from our academic book 1, test 3, passage 3. Hi, Amarjeet. Hi, Hung. Hi, Alexander. Good to see you in class on time. And of course, students, these materials, they come from our world-class IELTS preparation web portals, aehelp.com for the academic version of the exam, and gieltshelp.com for the general version. We will soon be releasing a new app for aehelp.com, so keep a lookout for that. All right, again, just a reminder, we do have a new speaking interview video with a candidate from India. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Again, if you need to contact me or send me requests, members, I'm always waiting for those requests. Hi, Preeti. Then send it to Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com. You can get the exam books, the one that we're using today as well, from Amazon. Search for AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General. All right, so let's see. Let's get that keyboard out of the way. So today, reading. And then for everybody in 90 minutes, we will do listening sections 3 and 4. So we will continue the listening section from yesterday and do parts 3 and 4. Hi, Zainab. So let's get right into our reading, everyone, and we'll go step by step. Like I say, this is a challenging reading, so we'll just do it together. Here we go. Reading passage 3. Again, this is from our book number 1 for the academic, and this is test number 3, passage 3 from page 136. Here we go. So this is the title, Physalia physalis, and you have a little picture here to help you. When you have a picture, that sometimes is an indication that it's going to be a challenging passage. Why do you think the IELTS gives you a picture beside the title? Amarjeet, Hung, Alexander, Preeti, Zainab, what do you think? Why do you think for some of these passages the IELTS exam will give you a picture? Unfortunately, it probably won't be colorful, especially if you're doing the paper-based exam, not like this, but you will see this picture in grayscale. Ferdovs says to visualize, and Alexander says because the title doesn't really say much, right? So here you just have this name, and of course you can make sense of it by looking at the picture. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and Amarjeet says to analyze it. So all of those are correct. Preeti says to help understand the title. So you're absolutely right, and Ferdovs has a very important note, which is to remind you to visualize, right? So don't be too fast when you are doing the IELTS exam and just ignore the picture or give it little thought. There's a saying in English, the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And it's true, okay? A picture is worth 1,000 words. If you think about data, when you have a piece of text, it only takes up a couple of bytes of data. When you have a picture, it takes up kilobytes, even megabytes of data. There's a lot more information contained in a picture in the very literal sense, even digitally, right? So a picture is worth 1,000 words. When you see a picture in the IELTS reading, it is there to remind you to A, visualize the information, B, help you understand the title. Okay, so make sure to pay attention to it. So when we look at this picture, right, we see this. What do you get from that? So what do you start to think about? What kind of information comes to your mind? And what can you infer? Infer means an educated guess or assumption. What can you infer about this title? So what do you get from this picture? What will you be reading about? What do you think? Okay, what do you think is going to be going on here? Hung says, obviously it's some sort of a jellyfish in the ocean. Alexander says it's some kind of a Medusa type creature. Amarjit says maybe it's a jellyfish, but does it look like a jellyfish, really? I mean, when you see a jellyfish usually look like this. They have these kinds of interesting circular look to it, right? This looks a little bit different than a jellyfish, and you're right to think that. Okay, you are correct to think that it's a little bit different, but it's not much different, so it is some sort of a jellyfish. So then what should you be thinking about? When you think jellyfish, what comes to mind? Okay, so always take your thoughts and your visualizations to the next level. Okay, it's a very, very good strategy for academic IELTS reading. So once you get the base idea or the basic idea, let's say, such as jellyfish, then take your thoughts and visualizations to the next level. Now, this is happening very quickly in your brain, students. I mean, it's taking us minutes to talk about this, but in the real exam, this is happening lightning fast in your thoughts. Okay? So, Kisi says some ocean species. Preeti says it's some kind of a sea creature. Ferdov says it's some creature that lives in the ocean. Right, of course. So let's take it to the next level. It's a sea creature. Ocean animal, sure. What else comes to mind? Let's see. Anybody think of any ideas? What else? When you think jellyfish, what else? What other words, what vocabulary spring to mind? Think about behaviors. Think about pop culture, what you might have seen in movies or read in books about jellyfish. So immediately you should try to hash up all of this information. Hung says something about swimming. Sure, Hung, that's not a bad thought, even as a basic idea. There should be some more. I bet you can come up with some more. I'm certain that you can. So what kind of attributes, Preeti? Okay, Kisi says it's maybe poisonous. That's a very good thought, Kisi. It is dangerous, right? That should come to mind, all right? All of those thoughts. So as much as possible, there we go, Hung, you read my mind. I'm sure the lag caught up with you now. So dangerous creature. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's pop back. So there it is. There's our beautiful jellyfish-like creature. Probably that's its name, Physalia physalis. Let's look at the questions. That's our next step. our members know this. So here we have some fill in the blanks. Okay, these questions, we can certainly read them and pay attention to them because all of this information is somewhere in the passage. So choose no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. 27. The Portuguese man of wars acts as both a defense and attack mechanism. Nomius has a something to the man of war's attack. Nomius is also a very competent, which helps keep it safe from the man of war. So obviously we're talking about 2 creatures here, this man of war creature and this Nomius creature. So hopefully you get this idea in your mind from reading these or skimming these questions before the passage. Although they initially look like a jellyfish, the man of war is really something. Now that's a key sentence. If you read that and pay attention, you should infer that, oh, that jellyfish-looking picture is really not a jellyfish, but it is some other creature. Okay? So that's what you should get from skimming over that sentence. All right. Now, the role of the something is as a sexual organ. So it's a reproductive organ. Again, as much as possible, if you have synonyms like reproductive come to mind, then think about that. Okay? So it's good to have those words pop into your mind, all right, as you're reviewing these. Okay, Nomius's ability to live around the poisonous, so you're thinking correct with the poison, of the man of war's not fully understood. All right, now, the key here too, members and students, is don't panic. If it looks like these are some challenging questions, take it easy. Give your brain a chance to work it out. Okay, now we have some more questions here. Complete each sentence with the correct ending, A to I below. Okay, so we have 4 half sentences. It's a very common type of question in the exam. And then you have 4, 8, 9 choices. So you have 9 choices to complete 4 sentences. Remember, don't read the choices. 5 of those are wrong. They might not even be in the passage. So don't confuse yourself with the choices. Just read the first half of the sentence, okay? This is in the passage. These choices are not. So 33. The relationship between the 2 creatures is best described as. So now you're certain that there's 2 creatures discussed. While the Nomius is resistant to the venom, the Nomius is swimming patterns. For the Nomius, man of war also serves as a. Okay? All right, that's all you need. You don't need to understand it. Just skim over them quickly. Get a little bit more information wherever you can, like the 2 creatures. Okay? Any questions so far, members, about these questions or what I'm showing you to do? Any questions? For instance, about the timing. How much time should you take to do this? You should only take 1 to 2 minutes so far for everything that I mentioned. Okay? Ferdov says, no questions, everything is crystal clear. Yeah, I think one common question is, oh, Adrian, you took 10 minutes to tell us all this. Absolutely, but your brain in the real exam is working quickly. So you look at the picture, you look at the title, you think jellyfish, you think ocean, you think poison, you skim over the questions, so you're moving quickly. Okay? Preeti, Amarjeet, any questions? Kisi says, so far so good. It's a nice expression, Kisi. I'm glad you've learned that and use it well. Yeah, so far so good is a very common way to respond to this in English. All right, here we have some multiple choice. Okay, again, multiple choice, be very careful. Don't read the choices. Completely train your eyes to ignore it. Okay, you have to train your eyes to ignore choices. Just look at the question. The nomius's main mechanism of defense is something. Okay, choices are very confusing for multiple choice. What does nomius generally use to propel itself? Okay, again, don't read the choices. So what does it what does it use to propel? Propel probably means in the ocean, it means swim. So what does it use to swim? And then here we have a couple of yes, no, not given questions. As you know, we just ignore those. Okay, yes, no, not given questions. We don't know if they're given or if they're true. They might not be in the passage, so we just ignore them. Notice something interesting here, members and viewers. This passage 3, not only is the topic quite challenging, but you have one type of question, the fill in the blanks. 2, the matching the correct sentence endings. 3, multiple choice. And 4, yes, no, not given. So don't be surprised, students, if for reading passage 3, you have up to 4 different types of questions. Usually passage 1 and 2 have 3 different types of questions, and sometimes passage 3 in the academic IELTS will have 4 different types of questions. Again, that's testing your dynamic thinking, your ability to adapt language and adapt your thinking, okay? So don't be surprised by that. Don't be like, whoa, really 4 kinds of questions for one passage? Yes, indeed, it is possible, okay? Don't let that surprise you, all right? Pay careful attention to each one, all right? I'll make a note of that so you keep that in mind for the future so that you don't freak out on the exam, all right? So passage 3 in the academic IELTS can possibly have 4 different question types, okay? Make sure to stay calm and apply the appropriate strategies. Okay, that's the key. All right. Okay, back to the passage here. So now we read. And again, don't forget to visualize. Okay, don't forget to visualize. So let's read this nice long passage together. Here we go. All right. All the way from the top. Bear with me, read with me. Let's read together, okay? Read nice and loud, or correctly said, aloud. Okay, so read aloud with me together. Ready? Preeti, Ferdavs, Amarjeet, Kisi, everybody good to go? Let's rock and roll. So, Physalia physalis, common name, Portuguese man of war, is a unique species of the class Hydrozoa. Several characteristics distinguish this species. The Physalia physalis is a free-floating communal polyp. Its powerful poison serves as a defense and attack for the species. One type of fish, however, has developed a high level of immunity to this toxin. The Nomius grombi is capable of withstanding injections of Physalia venom 10 times the normal strength of that which kills other fishes. Due to this resistance, the venom and exceptional swimming, the 2 organisms have evolved to form a commensal relationship with one another. Even though we apply the term commensalism to the symbiosis between these 2 animals, the nature of the interaction is not exactly fitting of the term. As defined by Campbell and Rees, commensalism is when one organism receives benefits while neither harming nor helping the other in any significant way. By looking closely at the behavior, physiology, and symbiosis between Physalia physalis and Nomius gromvi, we find out the reason for this misleading terminology. Members, what is this paragraph mostly discussing? What is the main focus of this introductory paragraph? You should always think about that. So you should always answer these basic questions when you're learning at home preparing for the exam. So you need to know what it's about. So what is this introductory paragraph basically about? What is it telling you? And again, hopefully you're visualizing this. Okay, keep a simple bullet form catalog of the information of the passage in your mind. So Hung says it describes something about the Physalia physalis and how it is dangerous. I don't think, Hung, that the focus of this paragraph is really about the danger of the Physalia. It does talk about its poison and its venom, but I don't think that's the main emphasis. I don't think that's what the author is really pushing. Yeah, so Preeti says it discusses both species and how they are connected with each other. Okay? Yeah, so Kisi says it's the relationship between Physalia and Nombius, right? Amarjit says the comparison of these two species or the discussion. Yeah, absolutely. So it introduces the unique relationship between the Portuguese, never was able to spell it, man of war, and the clownfish. Okay, give you a little bit of help there. The Nomius is a type of clownfish category that lives with the Portuguese man of war. Sure, now another tip that I want to give you, students, members, viewers, this is absolutely the same difficulty that you can get in your academic IELTS Passage 3. So this is by no means more difficult. This is basically a first-year university level reading passage. Okay? Now, there are words here like Nomius grombi and the word hydrozoa, okay, that may be new for most people, native English speakers as well as non-native English speakers. Okay? So if you see a word like this, hydrozoa, or you see a word like this, Nomius grombi, and you don't know how to pronounce it, or you're having difficulty reading it, don't panic. Just read it however you can. So the Nomius grombi, okay, or hydrobza, whatever comes to mind. Don't get stuck trying to pronounce that word. Just read through it. Don't let these words break your thoughts or your ideas, okay? So don't get lost in these kinds of words. Do you understand what I mean by that, members? So don't get stuck up on strange new words in the academic reading. Don't let it break your concentration and your fluency. That's really bad. Okay, that's really bad because then the passage will fall apart on you. Okay, so just read through them. Read through them. Okay, it's a very important tip. All right, and like I say, these words could be new words for any person. So when you come across new, perhaps scientific words in your reading. Do not get hung up on them, trying to understand and pronounce them. Instead, just read through them to retain fluency and comprehension. It's very important. I see way too often where students stop and they focus on the word and they're like, what is hydrozo? Hydrozo? How do you pronounce that? Hydrozoa, hydrozo, hydrozoa, hydrozo. What is that? Did somebody tell me that word? Did I read about that? Did they see a movie on that? Okay, don't get stuck up on that. Forget about it. Move through it. Okay, very important tip. Right? Very, very important tip. Just move through it. Practice doing that at home. All right, let's keep going. Here we go. So first paragraph is about Physalia and Nomius's relationship with each other. Here we go, paragraph 2. Let's move nice and smooth. The physiology of the physalis is unique. Physalia physalis, I think that's supposed to be, is unique. At first glance, they appear to be jellyfish, but the Portuguese man of war is actually a polyp or community of polyps belonging to the order Siphonophora, which gets its common name from its resemblance to an old Portuguese warship. The man of war floats with a gas-filled blue-pink translucent body called a pneumatophore, a part of a single polyp. This crest-like pneumatophore, which may attain a length of 20 centimeters, acts as a sail and is aligned so that the colony sails at 45 degrees to the wind direction. Polyps connect tentacles, which are located at the ventral surface of the float. There are 3 types of specialized polyps: dactylozoids that find and catch prey with poisonous stingers called nematocysts, gonozoids that reproduce, and gastrozoids that digest the food like a stomach. These fishing tentacles, sometimes as long as 50 meters, hang down like a drift net, combing the water for prey. Whew, that paragraph is a mouthful with lots of tricky words. I even made the mistake of getting stuck on this mistake in the text of physalis physalis, so I shouldn't have done that. I just explained not to do that. Clearly, this paragraph is discussing what? Members, what is this paragraph clearly discussing in a very simple way? So, paragraph B, Ferdowsi says it's about the appearance, types, and the origins of this creature. Preeti says the structure. Hung says the appearance of the creature and how it eats. Yep, sure, you're on the right path. When we talk in biology about the hand, the face, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the heart, the lungs, the liver, what are we discussing? What is that called in English? It starts with an A. Okay, of course, I'm always pushing you to use your vocabulary. What class are you learning in school when you're learning about the body parts? Preeti says the physiology, sure. Or what's another way? Very good, Vanity Sean, there you go. Chantal, excellent. Some more people jumping in. Anatomy, yeah. So paragraph B is about the anatomy. of this creature. So definitely you should visualize it. And this paragraph, when you have something like this and you're reading this, you should reference the picture that's given here. Okay? So you should realize that, okay, here's the picture, and this paragraph is actually telling me what this is, what these are here. Okay? So these are all different parts of this creature, and this paragraph is describing these for me. So it says here that, it looks like a jellyfish. It appears to be a jellyfish, but it's actually a polyp, or a community of polyps. So it's actually different than a jellyfish. It's a polyp. Usually polyps grow on the bottom of the ocean, but this interesting group of polyps have figured out how to float on the ocean. Okay? And it looks like a Portuguese warship. That's why it gets this name. So if we look at this creature carefully, and now this is helping us to visualize as we read even more, we have this Portuguese warship here with this interesting sail. Do you see the warship now? The Portuguese warship, of why it gets the name Portuguese man of war. Can you see that, members, or have I completely lost my mind along with the people who decided to call it a Portuguese man of war? I guess a man of war would have been the name of Portuguese war vessels or warships back in the day with these sailboats. Do you see that? The galleon? All right. Now, usually I suggest to students to read the whole passage before you answer questions. Okay? So best practice is read the passage, then answer questions. However, when you catch some technical answers that you know are correct to some of the questions that you read or that you reviewed before the passage, it's okay to go, oh, wait a second, that was absolutely one of the questions, and there's the answer for it. So I should stop and fill in that blank. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? So where is a clear answer for one of the questions here? There's a couple of answers in this paragraph, obviously, but there's one that really jumps out as, oh, wow, okay. There's actually two in this paragraph that really jump out at us, where it's like, oh, okay, those were definitely answers to a couple of questions. I can quickly fill those in, and then I'll keep reading. Okay? Don't start with the questions and search for answers, but if you catch the answers while you read, it's okay to put them in to the answers. Does anybody know which answers I'm thinking about here while I write this note for you? So this is an interesting tip here. Usually, you should read the whole passage before you answer questions, except for a list of headings, as I've taught you before. However, if you catch a couple of clear technical answers as you read, you should stop and give those answers or complete those questions. Yeah, very good. So excellent. While I was writing that, I see that Preeti says gonozoids reproduce, and Amarjeet and Zainab both said polyps, and Casey's saying gonozoids. So excellent. Different students here are picking up on one or the other answer that I gave there. Yeah, absolutely, or that I was thinking of there. Absolutely. Good job, students. Well done, members. Good for you. I'm going to give you a super thumbs up. Yeah, fantastic. Nicely done. So remember that in the questions, there was that a very kind of taboo word for many people, sexual, right? Anytime a word like that, sexual, comes up, people are very attentive. It's a very taboo word. And then if we think of paraphrasing and reproduce, then, whoa, wait a second, there was that word sexual, and here it's reproduce. So there's definitely an answer in there. All right, maybe I should just stop and give that answer. And then the other interesting question that popped out at us was, a lot of people think this is a jellyfish, but in fact, it is actually something else. It's oh, wait a second, it's a polyp. So those are good ones to catch and fill in, right? So one was question 30 here. Although they initially look like a jellyfish, the man-of-war is really a, drum roll please, a polyp. Yeah. Polyp, I should say, polyp. Okay, and then the other one was the role of the something is as a sexual organ, and Kesey and Preeti did a good job of figuring that out. That, wait a second, that's the gonozoids. Another reason it's good to fill that in is because it's obviously a unique word with a tricky spelling, so you have to kind of catch it anyway. So good job. Good for you for figuring that out. Okay. Otherwise, keep reading. So don't stop now and then start searching for these other ones, because then suddenly you'll find yourself lost in a maze of information and you're jumping around. Just do the ones that you know are correct, that jump out at you, and then keep reading. Does that make sense? What I'm expressing, or the strategy that I'm annotating to the lesson here, does it make sense to you? If not, please let me know while we go on to the next paragraph, the third one. Marwa, thank you for hopping in and sharing that information with us. I think many of our members still remember you, so fantastic. I'm super happy. Can you please write me an email as well, Marwa? We'd love to use a testimonial from you. Okay? Super appreciate you jumping in to share that. Thank you. And congratulations on your score. Preeti, Kisi, Hung, that's a clear strategy. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Okay, awesome. Good news is good news. Always happy to hear it. Here we go with the next paragraph, students. So the relationship between Physalia and Nomius is arguably harmful to both organisms. They mutually benefit from one another, but at the same time, the symbiosis can be quite damaging to both creatures. In this sense, the relationship could be better defined as one of mutualism and parasitism. In mutualism, both organisms benefit. In parasitism, one organism benefits at the expense of the host. All right. So the third paragraph here is talking about their relationship, and it says that it's maybe harmful to both organisms. So, all right, we'll keep that in mind. We'll keep reading. Again, Marwa, super happy for you. Send me an email. Next paragraph, fourth paragraph, here we go. When the Nomius is weak, so we can guess that here, this short paragraph says that the relationship can be harmful to both creatures. This next paragraph will probably explain more clearly what the author means by that, okay? Here we go. Marwa, you're making me blush with your compliment. You probably see it better if it were brighter in here. The Nombius is weak. It may no longer be able to withstand the venom of the nematocysts. In one study, a freshly expired Nombius was offered to the Physalia. The carcass was immediately stung, taken hold of by a dactylozoid, and brought up to the gastrozoids. The Nombius, although resilient to the toxin, is not 100% immune. In the same study, the live Nombius began to swim more erratically and moved towards the carcass as the gastrozoids formed their characteristic bag and began to digest the fish. The live Nombius was then caught on the left side by one of the largest dactylozoids. This behavior clearly indicates how the symbiosis may deviate from the definition provided by commensalism. All right, so what is this paragraph saying? This paragraph is saying that, hey, this Portuguese man-of-war will actually eat this fish if it has the chance. If it has the chance, it will eat this fish. Okay, so keep visualizing here. On the other hand, Nombius has two distinct gains. Gains here means benefits. Okay. From its innate behavior with Physalia. As an experiment demonstrated, upon introduction, the Nombius initially swam near the surface and around the Physalia in a large circular pattern, in both clockwise and counterclockwise directions. So visualize it. So here's this jellyfish, and here's this little fish swimming this way and this way. So clockwise and counterclockwise. Clockwise and counterclockwise around this polyp, community of polyps. Okay? This action protects the fish from attack. Most predatory fishes of Nombius therefore avoid the man-of-war or sustain serious injury and often death. Second, the Physalia provides a food source for the Nombius. In the mentioned experiment, about 15 minutes after release, the Nombius swam closer to the Physalia, paused as if inspecting it, and then began to nip at the edges of the gonozoids. So the little fish started eating these little tentacles. Physalia is able to regenerate the tentacles, and so this ingestion is rarely fatal to the organism. Nombius's capacity to survive near the poison tentacles of the man-of-war is only partly due to the resilience of the toxin. The main reason for this skill is certain swimming behaviors. Instead of developing protective mucus, the fish depends on its swimming abilities as its main mechanism of defense, while living in the venomous discharge of the Physalia. Okay, so we're here. The Nombius fish can maneuver with a precision to avoid stinging nematocysts. This is the case whether the Physalia is stationary or in motion. Ray fin fishes have a physiology which enables maneuverability. The fish displays relative ease in maintaining a safe distance from the dactylozoids, even with absurd sharp changes in direction. Nombius specimens use the pectoral fins for propulsion, while the pelvic fins are spread like a fan. The caudal fin is apparently used for only short, fast darts. This swimming behavior appears to be well suited for existence with Physalia. It is therefore apparent that rather than developing an ability to inhibit the discharge of Physalia nematocysts or prevent them from stinging, Nombius uses its swimming abilities as its primary means of defense while living in the venomous drift net of Physalia. Whew! quite the handful. This paragraph is clearly talking about the swimming ability of the fish to live around this Portuguese man-o-war. Now, there's a couple of answers that jump out here as well. Did anybody catch it? So in this one, we have a little bit of anatomy or physiology of the fish, of the Nombius fish. And there are a couple of answers here that might jump out at you if you remember what you reviewed in the questions before. Does anybody recall a couple of important points, especially if you're doing some good visualization? What jumps out from this? So Preeti says something about its swimming ability is the answer for one of the questions. And Chantal says it's using its pectoral fins for movement. Very good, Chantal. Absolutely. So I remember that there was some kind of a question which said this fish uses this part of its body to move quickly or smoothly through the water. Okay? So let's see where those questions are. Nombius is also a very competent something which helps keep it safe from the man-o-war. So there is our answer for Preeti, right? Swimming ability, so competent swimmer, right? So Nombius is also a very competent swimmer, which helps keep it safe from the man-o-war, okay? Let's see. Nombius has a something. Okay, we don't see it there. The relationship between the two creatures. Okay, no. While the Nombius is resistant to the venom. Nope. The Nombius swimming patterns. Nope. For the Nombius man-o-war. Okay, still nothing about that propulsion yet. Let's keep going. The Nombius's main mechanism of defense is, I don't think we read about that too much yet, but maybe something about, I would guess, swimming behaviors at this point. C. What does Nombius generally use to propel itself? Dorsal fins, caudal fins, pelvic fins, or D, pectoral fins? And this is where Chantal, your answer comes in well. So it's D, pectoral fins. So I can definitely pick up 2 more points there. And if I'm running out of time in the reading section, because this is passage 3, at least now I know that I have 4 correct answers on passage 3, which is great. Okay, you're definitely heading in the right direction. All right? So, here we go. Last paragraph. Taking into consideration all of the interactions involved in the symbiotic relationship of these 2 organisms, the appropriate term to assign is difficult. The facts state that the commensalism of these 2 aquatic creatures is one which incorporates beneficial as well as harmful factors depending on the circumstance. It is this alternation of prey-predator roles of Physalia nombius that creates a definitive difficulty. Perhaps the best term we can apply for the moment is that of commensalism, given that both animals receive some benefit at varying times during the relationship. All right. So here, the conclusion says these 2 creatures have a difficult relationship. It's hard to define it. Almost sounds like a marriage to me. That was kind of a joke. Wonder if you got that. But Anyway, it seems that both of them benefit at some point in the relationship. So it is a commensal relationship. All right. Now we can answer questions. And hopefully we visualized enough to answer a lot of these without having to go back to the passage. So number 27, the Portuguese man-of-war's something acts as both a defense and attack mechanism. What is it? Kisi, don't panic, okay? You're not as lost as you may think. Okay? Alexander says the Portuguese man-of-war's tentacles acts as a defense and an attack mechanism. I think there's a better word than tentacles, Alexander, more specific word. Chantal says venom. Yeah, venom. The venom acts more specifically. It's not the tentacles. The reason why tentacles is not correct, Alexander, is because we learned that there are 3 kinds of tentacles, and only one of them is the one that attacks. So venom is a better word. What else is a good word for it? The other word that could be good is poison. Poison. If you're really lost, students like Keith, you're like, oh, I'm really lost. The answers usually do come in the order of the passage. So you might be able to go back and catch some like this. Its powerful poison serves as a defense and attack for the species. The first few answers you might be able to solve by looking through the text, but you can't do that for all of them. Okay? All right, so poison is the correct answer. Tentacles is close, Alexander. It's just not right, unfortunately. All right, Nombius has a something to the man-of-war's attack. So Nombius has a what to the attack of the man-of-war? A lot of these answers are quite logical as well. So Nombius, which is the fish, has a something to the man-of-war's attack. What does it have? What allows it to live close to this community of polyps? What's the first word that comes to mind? So without looking at the text. Alexander says it's a resistance. Yeah, you're right, Alexander. It is a resistance. Okay. It's not immunity, because immunity means that it's not effective at all. It's resistance. Preeti, resistant is okay, but it's the wrong word form. Okay. Nomius has a resistant. It's just grammatically wrong. It's resistance to the man-of-war's attack. You have to use a noun form here. Preeti, immunity is not correct, because immunity means that that there's absolutely zero effect, which is not true. So the man-of-war can kill the Nombius, so it's not completely immune. Okay? If somebody has immunity to a virus or a disease or a poison, it means that it has no effect on them, zero effect. Okay, so careful. That's the difference between immunity and resistance. Okay, we answered this one, so we don't need to look at it again. It was swimmer, right? And then we answered this one, so we don't need to look at that one again. We're fine. We answered this one, so we don't need to look at this one. Okay. Now, Nombius's ability to live around the poisonous something. Alexander, here's your chance to shine. Second time lucky, right? What's the correct answer? So, live around the poisonous something of the man-of-war is not fully understood. Oh, for Dobbs, you stole it from Alexander. Oh, no, Alexander got it first. Tentacles. Yeah, and it's L-E-S. Okay, I see it. Yeah, Alexander, you got in there. I thought Ferdovs got in there before you, but I was wrong. It is. It's tentacles. Okay, tentacles. Tentacles. C-L-E-S is correct, the spelling. So careful with that. All right, good. So we got all of the fill in the blanks, right? Okay. So not as bad as you think. Sometimes when the reading passage seems very difficult, the answers seem to make more sense, at least some of them. So again, don't panic. So here we go, number 33. The relationship between the two creatures is best described as what? In your own words. What is that relationship best described as? Between these two creatures, according to this author. Vanity says it's commensalism. They benefit each other. Alexander agrees. Yeah. So, anything here? A, protect the... Nope. Source of food, that doesn't make sense. Nope. Very prone, that's kind of weird. Mutualistic and parasitic. Endanger the man of war, it's seemingly immune. Which one do you think matches the best? Which one defines this commensal relationship the best? Yeah, G. I agree. Alexander, Vanity. Yeah, I agree. It's mutualistic and parasitic. Okay. All right. So, G it is. Okay. Members, I'm out of time, unfortunately, but you all should have access to these exams, right? That's one of your perks, is you have access to these exam books. So after this class, finish up the rest of these questions in your book, and then check the answer key in the back of the book to make sure you got them correct. But you should know them, okay? So you should get most of them. So follow the same logic. If you're having trouble, don't panic. Don't look at the answer key. Read it again, okay? Give yourself a second chance. Give your brain a second chance to get those answers. Remember these strategies that I showed you today, okay? Firstly, when you see a picture with the title, visualize the information, go deep, okay? Think about follow-up ideas to your initial thoughts, okay? So don't just think jellyfish, but think, what about jellyfish? Where do they live? What do they do? What's unique about jellyfish? Okay, think about these questions. And this kind of a unique tip, I'm careful with this tip, but keep it in mind. While you read, if there are answers that clearly jump out at you, then stop and answer those questions. Don't search for answers. That's not a good way. Don't skim and scan for all the answers. You'll run out of time. But when answers pop out at you, then make sure to answer those questions. Those are the really important tips and strategies of today's lesson. All right, everyone. In 30 minutes, we will complete listening section 3 and 4 that we started. Amarjeet, it's a tough reading. Don't worry about it. Go back to the book, review it, try it again, okay? If it's still tough, look at the transcripts for the reading at the back of the book. You'll find that as well. Thank you so much, members, for your participation. I know that was a challenging class. Tomorrow we will have a Q&A session. So if you have some questions that have come up about reading and about these challenging passages, tomorrow will be a great opportunity to ask questions in our Q&A session. Hopefully see you in 30 minutes for some listening. Bye for now, members. Thank you, viewers, for hanging in there. In 30 minutes, we can all have a chance to join the chat. Bye for now.